Warm up.
Yep. Resharing the link. 1 minute. I feel like today's gonna be a challenge to keep it in 30 minutes. We're not required, but it could be an interesting goal.
My shame will be more remembering the names, so I think I will avoid names.
You mean of the creator?
I'm so bad with the names.
Yeah, we can just name the games.
Hey, you're Hey, Andre.
Just sharing, just sharing. But yeah, welcome to the stream. As usual, it would super help us if you like the video wherever you're watching it, share it with friends, leave comments, entertain us. It also helps us know that you're there, because otherwise we have no visibility of who is tuned in to the stream tonight. Today's going to be a tabletop episode, which is sort of what has happened to Mondays. I haven't quite set it in stone, only because there's still that desire to have some flexibility for Baduy Pride that we may or may not do stuff. But I think we should. We'll get around to it. You know, to help people know when to tune in more, maybe.
Yeah, that's possible.
But we're definitely, yeah. Mondays have sort of become board game days, so to speak, to be more specific about which aspect of tabletop we're talking about. Reminders for everyone is that we have a special guest on Friday. We are doing an interview type episode with Precious Paula and Nicole. So if any of you tuned in before for like how we had the ring on the stream, it's probably something like that, which means and it's a Friday episode, so we're gonna run long and just have fun. At the same time, we also have the pre-anniversary episode on Saturday. I don't know what to call it. I'm calling it the pre-anniversary because it seems wrong to call it the anniversary episode, because one, our anniversary is on the 17th, and two, people might think it's the anniversary of Baduy Pride, which is not. only at 80-something episodes by Saturday. So yeah, we're trying to figure that out. And we will try not to host Saturday. Nico has to do that.
Yes.
He's not watching now, but his ears are burning whenever we call him out. But I appreciate, so we have Urim, we have Andre, we have Jay, and we have Pico here. Hello, all of you on YouTube. And I noticed that seems to be the consensus. Like, the YouTube version of this stream is better than the Facebook one.
More stable, better quality in terms of...
Yeah, no slowdowns, because apparently the Facebook stream does slow down. So that's pretty interesting. But we'll continue to keep this as a simulcast live stream so that more people can enjoy. We still have a few like consistent holdouts who really prefer Facebook. And I guess also because it makes the comments a lot easier. Facebook comments are definitely a little more superior than YouTube comments.
Yes.
But then the nice thing about the YouTube comments is that, guys, you are immortalized on the video itself. So if you rewatch or catch up with episodes you missed, you will be able to see the chat live.
Yes.
And that's a unique behavior of YouTube. I know Facebook does something similar, but because it's on the bottom of the video or not the side, it doesn't quite feel as organic as the YouTube experience. So I don't know. It's something for everyone, guys. It's something for everyone. For those who are interested, Marbula 1 Season 2 has begun.
We should have had it yesterday.
I still occasionally watch the Marble Races channel on YouTube. It's still quite entertaining. It is the most sporty thing I watch. I swear.
Mitch just joined.
Mitch is on Facebook. Hello, Mitch. Welcome. So our real challenge is gonna see if we can fit this overview in 30 minutes. Because today we're gonna be talking about the local tabletop games in our collection.
Yes.
And this is just the ones we have. There are more out there. We've been able to test some of them in various incarnations, but then we don't necessarily own physical copies of all of them. And we'll do our best. Gotta support local, guys. Last plug before we begin, we're also doing this episode because this week is the week of the Indie Fiesta.
Yes.
For those who are unfamiliar with the Indie Fiesta, this is like a mini event that was typically part of the ESGS, or the Electronic Sports and Gaming Summit, which is held at the last weekend of October. But then ESGS kind of focused more on esports this year. So Indie Fiesta went on their own to make sure that there's still a place to feature these creators. Oh, hello. And the Indie Fiesta features both
digital and analog games.
Digital and analog games by indie creators. So there's a lot of exciting stuff. The main challenge is just trying to how can you test the games out. It's going to be a lot of coordination, but they have set up a very interesting JRPG-like navigation of the convention hall. And get your camera ready, because as you approach booths, the camera will pop on and you'll be able to say hello to the different independent creators. And we'll probably reshare the link later on in the comments for those who are interested.
Yes.
All right. It's 9:10. Then we can start.
All right, starting timer. This is Toby.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy Pride, a little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
This is completely unscripted and not entirely accurate, but at least it's honest. Join us as we talk about everything and anything random, live, totally not scripted.
And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining again. Don't forget to like the video on whatever channel you are watching it.
Like the video, share it with your friends. Help people find out that this stream exists, even though they would not be interested. But hey, at least they know Baduy Pride is a thing.
And we'd like to think that there's at least one episode in the 79 episodes we've had so far.
79!
That they will relate to in one way or another.
Not as funny as 69.
This episode, we're spending at least 30 minutes talking about the local tabletop games in our collection. We will not focus on role-playing games. We're focused more on board games, card games, and whatever in-between experiences.
Although, I just realized I could have just said the card games, because I think predominantly they are card games.
Predominantly, yes.
I try to avoid saying board games because it's a misnomer sometimes. But then, yes, tabletop games is too wide. But yeah. So, and we're wearing our Jaja shirts because
we're
support local. Support local! Yay. Okay. I have no idea where we're going to be. So we have a pile of games. If you saw the thumbnail promo, whatever, for this video, I laid out all the games, the local games that we have physical copies of in our collection. And so we'll just kind of go through it. And
I think I'll start with the oldest one in our collection.
Yay. All right.
That would be... Well,
not visible at all.
Tailcraft.
This is Tailcraft. Toby, what is Tailcraft?
Oh my gosh, this is not working. The light is not kind. There. Created by the publisher.
That was kind of visible for a moment.
By Comicasi Enterprises. Tailcraft is a Philippine-based storytelling card game created by Rielu. It has a bunch of different cards, which, as you can see here, are not like normal.
Hello,
playing
Mina.
cards.
Welcome to the stream. And
they're
yes,
more tarot cards.
they're very tarot card size. Yes.
You have different cards such as keywords. This one's a keyword, which is music box. This other one is a card that allows you to pick archetype cards that you might like, because the game also has archetypes. For example, you might have a villain who is a reluctant villain. You might have a woman who is the siren. You might have a hero. And notice at the bottom, the text actually down there is not just flavor text, but it actually offers ideas about the archetype. References, for example, for the reclusive genius.
Noel.
Some examples include Mycroft Holmes or Sherlock Holmes stories, or Wade from Kim Possible.
But Toby, what is the objective of Tailcraft?
With all these different cards, you are challenged to come up with your story by using archetypes, keywords, and sometimes even genres, they're fillers. And as you know, as part of the experience, you and the others try to craft your own stories with your set of cards. Afterwards, you decide who has the best story, and you play another game.
So everyone's making their own story, and you're not making one story, which would be games like Once Upon a Time.
Yes. While it is similar to games like Once Upon a Time, it forgoes the more competitive aspect of the game and focuses on being creative. Many have used this as writing tools, as ways to beat mental blocks, or as inspiration. Some can even use the cards, if you play tabletop role-playing games, to inspire you on your next character.
That's game number 1.
Or NPC. That's game number 1. Would you like to handle our next game?
Really?
Yes.
Okay, our next one is Hugot. Oh my god, all these white box games. Hugot. So
I'll hold it for
Hugot
you.
style will kind of remind you more of things like Cards Against Humanity, because there are cards of 2 colors and they do stuff. But what Hugot is really about is making Hugot. No, but basically, someone gets to be the Hugot Lord, and he picks a phrase which will be things like, what was that one?
Hugutan natin ang gobyerno.
Oh, wow. That's very timely, always, right? And then players, using their corresponding cards, will play cards that they think will match the theme.
For example,
So it still sounds like Cards Against Humanity.
For example, you might say, para siyang basura. Kasi
Ooh.
pwedeng i-recycle. Or another player might say, para siyang... will not explain why. Go on.
So, based on all that, you could just say the word and leave it at that. But hindi hugot yun. So, hugot really encourages people to
Be creative.
have a witty one-liner to explain why this is the case.
Based on the card that they choose to play.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you got this,
Ilalawan si crush.
and your card is basura, why would basura be your card?
Then you need to explain, because people will want to know. But yeah, Hugot is a great little party game. Supports 3 to 5 players. It plays quite quickly. And there are actually expansions, because there's Hugot, Hugot pa more, and what was the third one? It's always weird for me.
Expansion. Wag nang hanapin ang X.
Expansion, because yes, the X is missing. And I'm sorry, on a side note, the game is inherently funny based on the manual alone. Please take the time to read the manual aloud to your group. It is absolutely hilarious. That's game number 2.
Game number 3.
Hey, Darna, ang nawawalang bato.
One of the most affordable yet extremely fun games that we have in our collection.
Yes.
It's around 150 pesos, if I remember correctly, available in National Bookstore and the like.
In other game stores.
Darna plays a hide-and-seek sort of game wherein a number of cards, one
5 of them.
One of them hides ang nawawalang bato, which, if you are familiar with Darna, is what you swallow and yell Darna to transform to the named superhero.
Yes.
By playing cards on your turn, you manipulate the position of the cards hiding the stone in hopes that you will start your next turn with the stone in front of you. If you think it's there, you grab the card and yell out, Darna!
And you flip it over.
And you reveal the card. And if it turns out to be something else, you're wrong.
You put it back, the game continues.
Which is genius, which is such a great way to play a game. that can finish within 2 minutes, and you can start a whole new round, and it's still as fun.
So there's no player elimination. You just keep going, and it features the original art from the Darna comic. Great stuff. Great stuff. It's super quick.
I'm not sure if it's original art or
at least art inspired by.
Yeah.
But was this is love letter levels of elegance.
We did that. Where's our caption? Yay!
The caption is missing.
More than 10 people watching.
We're at 12.
Thank you. We shall continue.
Yeah, but Pico asked, is it expandable? No, like love letter before it. It's exactly 4 players. So you got to work with that. It's still a very tight game.
The same creators are working on a new edition. I cannot say more other than that. But another similar game that they also have is inspired by Elastic Man. You can check that out. We do not own it.
Balangay Entertainment. Good job, guys.
Instead, what we own is the first edition of
Politricks. The second edition we've seen in like Toy Kingdom. So yeah. Toby, what is Politricks?
Politricks is a satirical game about Philippine politics played for 2 to 5 people. It's quite tongue-in-cheek, and it has cards all about how certain trapo politicians will try to win the game by buying votes.
And not real at all. This is purely satirical.
That was so perfectly timed.
That was a statement, not a joke.
So you have fake money, which is in the millions and used to buy the votes. You have different things such as the
Dirty Lawyer's Advice
or Ghost Voters. And by playing cards like this, you try to snatch specific location in hopes of winning the election in the game. It's quite charming in its own way, quite relatable if one considers the zeitgeist, and ultimately, it's got pretty art. I mean, the art just has that.
It's very fun. There is a new edition for those who are looking for it. So it's no longer the guy who just happens to look like Arab, who is obviously not Arab because it is satirical.
Legally speaking, we must state it is not Arab.
No, yeah, it's totally not. No. Okay, and then Pico's already saying he's want to get Hugot. We played it at the office. It's great. We had a lot of fun. It is not fun if you are the boss because one of the Hugot cards is like hugutin yung sweldo mo. And then everybody kind of looked at me like, it's okay, just go ahead. So yeah, it's good among your peers, that thing.
Okay, the next game on our list is a game that will oddly be in a baggie.
Because we have a first edition.
Yes, it's not because we lost the box, but we bought it before it had a box.
This is the ecological family-friendly game, Pawikan Patrol. And guys, the art is super cute. In Pawikan Patrol, you will have your team of individuals who are trying to save the turtles, right? And it plays sort of like Sushigo in that there are different like set collection rules for the different things. Or like a Pawikan nest is just 3 points, but picking up the trash, which is removing it from the beach, is 2 points. That's great. But there are dangers like poachers who will look for the eggs and destroy them, or sharks. Well, predators, sorry. But yeah, they are negative points. Pawikan Patrol is a
shark. He's sad because he's negative.
It's a negative. But yeah, so it's a very tight game. It's just very charming, educational. And there's a lot of love in this, and I know they work also with a lot of ecological foundations and groups also in terms of the game. Even
more interesting, the game can be played solo, can be played as a group, and I know they are working on alternate rules for campaign play, if I remember correctly. I keep saying it's Pawikan Legacy, which just sounds awesome. I hope it will happen.
Yeah, but don't worry. When you buy it now, they have a box because they have a bigger release. But yeah, we got it early on. Yay!
Then shifting to Talinhaga.
You're gonna have to explain this one.
Which comes in a lovely, I guess kacha is the word for this bag.
Yeah.
It is charming in its packaging. It is almost scary to bring out because you're worried you might ruin the
Look
things.
At these tiny cards.
But they are beautifully illustrated cards despite not being covered in artwork.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
You'll see the detail that looks like weaving. You'll see the nice, it's not that visible in the camera, but it's nice gradients of color.
mhm.
You basically have different syllables, and by forming words, you gain points. The wood syllables, however, can be modified depending on placing the different markings, whether it's, I think it was kudlit and the like, which allow you to change the vowel or remove them entirely.
Mm.
It also comes with beads that allows you to track which is what player. Um, I've also seen this played used for different languages. As long as the language is syllabatical in nature, if I remember that was the term,
Mm.
you can use
Phonetic.
this. Was it phonetic?
I don't know.
Yeah, but you can basically play this game simply because sa might be say and all that if you combine it with another word. But yeah, it's an interesting game. It's quite pretty. It's a bit. I think it's a bit harder to find. I can't quite remember if there's a Game Detective that sells a copy.
It used to say again, yeah.
Yes, so you might want to see if you can contact them to grab yourself a copy of Talinhaga.
Mom was like, how is it played? Basically, you are forming words, and then you can also add
Mhm.
on to existing words
Yes.
to get more points. But you will realize, well, at least in my case, my Filipino is not that great. So I've run into a lot of trouble playing this game. But it could be a good exercise to learn to think better.
Yeah, syllabic was the term. But yeah, it's quite daunting. I mean, I remember when we were playing, we were both struggling, and then the friends we were playing with were like, okay, and we're like, what?
Yeah, there was like really good words and like, hey, I think I said dog. I don't know. So
I know. I tried to invent the word.
yeah. So, but it's a good experience because it's sort of like Scrabble, yes, but because the roots of Tagalog are syllabic in nature.
Mhm.
So yay.
Do you want to go for that one?
Well, you already highlighted. No, I was
Which
matching
one?
your
Yeah,
slide.
which one do you want to go for? Do you
It's-
want to do this or that one?
It's the same.
Yeah.
But we'll just brace it. But
Okay,
yay.
that one
Okay.
first then.
So next one is Compatron because guys, it's fun that there are games that celebrate local comics with a K.
And yes, it has a sequel already.
Yay! So Compatron is a two-player game
Mhm.
where you get to portray different characters from the Compatron comic, and you are fighting in a duel with one another.
Mhm. It
Yeah.
plays for 2 to 4 players. Gameplay can be as short as 15 minutes, even less, as you try to come out with awesome combos to defeat each other. The expansion adds even more characters to the mix. And I know that they made this with the creators' blessing and love.
And participation.
And
yeah.
there is even a digital version of the game in the works right now, which I think was funded in Indiegogo.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, Compatron is
From the people who brought you Hugot.
ah.
Super awesome. Okay. Next
Oh,
on your list.
do you want to do this one?
Oh, okay. I didn't want to tag the creators. We're friends with some of them on Facebook. and,
Yes.
So now they're trying to find this video after. We're going to talk about 9 Lives, but this is the very pretty Kickstarter edition because yes, guys, this game went to Kickstarter.
So let's open it. Let's open it. Let's open it.
So 9 Lives, and you can highlight. Yay! It's a cat game, but it's
I
hard
think
to
I'll have
see.
to-
Yay!
There. Meow, 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 meow,
All right, 9 Lives. How do we explain 9 Lives?
meow, meow.
So, be
Nine
interesting.
Lives is a game where you are playing as a cat. And look at that art. Oh, they're just so adorable.
and there are 9 different cats that they have created as sort of the IP for this game,
Mhm.
which also represent your 9 lives in the game. So you have these Pog style tokens.
And one of them is named Rocky. See?
Yes, that is purely a coincidence. But yeah, this is like your main hero cat. So
As playing as a cat, your goal is to be the last cat standing as you try to shut down other players with different cards ranging from cards that are attacks to events that represent things that happen in the game. Yeah.
yeah, so very high production. So you have different card abilities. So some of them are attacks, some of them are defense, some of them are like technical skills, whatever. Very, very silly stuff. Very amazing art on every card. So it's a very, very fun game.
The card has its share of humor, not just in the art, but as well in the cards. For example, Whoopsie, which has a cat tinkling. It actually uses these more than just life tokens, as the game has you flipping them. And sometimes heads or tails has an effect in the game.
And sometimes they're both bad, but hey, you go with it.
Or in some cases, like this one, the boring life card, heads, no effect. Tails, no effect.
So yes, there's a lot of cheekiness inherent in the writing of this game. There's a fair amount of reading. There are many different cards. They're not necessarily unique cards, but there are many cards. So it's a great little party game. And then they are also working on a digital edition, right? Or isn't that what they're featuring at Indie Fiesta?
I know for Indie Fiesta they might be featuring an expansion, but I am not sure, and I will not say more. You can find out by visiting Indie Fiesta in the next few days between 4 to 7 p.m.
Mami, I'm asking, where can we get games like Compatron and 9 Lives?
9 Lives, I think it was in the already closed Game Dogs. So you might best reach out to their Facebook group. They have a Facebook page, and you should be able to inquire if they still have copies of their game available.
Yeah, Compatron got fairly wide distribution, right? Yes. But then again, I mean, in lots of these cases, you can look for the publishers on not the publishers, the creators on Facebook and their official pages, and then they'll help you connect the dots.
If you're lucky, you will find that they still also have merch for 9 Lives, everything from cups to mugs
to stuffed toys.
And they were so cute.
But yeah, it's a very, very quick game. It's a lot of fun.
And plays well with more players.
Yes. It supports up to 5. Okay.
We shall then move to Espionage. And yes, this is a signed copy because, Espionage is inspired by a game system similar to Love Letter, where players draw a card, and then of the 2 cards they have, in this case, more than 2, play a card and trigger its effects.
Yes.
Your objective is to be the last one standing to succeed in the mission. And that mission can range from finding the objective card, or blowing up your opponents with the bomb.
Yeah, making sure you don't have the bomb.
Or eliminating the target.
Yeah, so it's very, the aesthetic is very Cold War, KGB style things, and you're all fighting one another. There are different types of cards also. There's attacks, there's blocks and such. Unlike Love Letter, which is like a 16 card game, this is like a full 52, or I think they mapped out along those lines. And it's really, you just work through the deck, and then that'll determine how you get to the end, or if you manage to eliminate all the other players.
The cards are color-coded, which allow you to easily understand which ones you're using. And the yellow cards, such as these, are the ones you should try to hold on to if you can.
Unless it's the bomb, then you shouldn't.
And try to get it to someone before it explodes.
Yeah, so super surprised by this game when we first played it. Games that require you to get to the end of the deck might feel long. This one does not. You blitz through very quickly, and the different mission cards make it very difficult to determine a consistent strategy, or even just figuring out who might be winning, because you don't know who has the mission cards, and you don't know if you will get one. You might get through the game without having a mission card of your own, but by eliminating the players who have theirs, you might still win.
Yes.
So it's a very tight, clever game. And then wasn't there a metal can version? Was that the older one?
A metal can
or the newer one? I don't know, but so they're going through different publishing styles, but this is like the original, the publisher that we got. Espionage.
All right, we're down to our last 3. I shall tackle one which has not been given a full release, but it is puti, or white, because it is inspired by the concepts of the White Lady. There, puti. Created by the same creative minds that worked on Darna.
Mm.
The game has you and other players working on a ritual that tries to keep the White Lady from getting to you. Interestingly, the game uses these colored patterns in order to try to remember the patterns as you look through doors in hopes of banishing the White Lady away. I love, however, how in the artwork you have Laro tayo, Toby, and then you have it, Toby, Toby.
This copy is personalized to you, I take it.
But it's an amazing, atmospheric game. I can't wait to see its full release come out. I hope it gets its full release out soon. But I was very grateful that I was given a personalized copy.
Yay!
We're down to our last two. You can take this. I can take this. I can do this. Then you finish.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
For those who are familiar with escape rooms, Rocky and I love a good escape room. So I decided.
An escape room board game.
So we tried to check out Mystery Manila's Escape from Enigma, the card game, which is a very expensive looking box. The box is almost, what's the word, is linen type?
Yeah, there's like a definite soft coating around it.
And then it uses these acrylic tokens to represent rope or flashlight.
Different objects.
Flyers. And then these are then related to the different possible characters. You have Wanda, Rebecca, Peter. As you try to navigate and find out who's really behind the actions. Is it happening by the brick wall? Was it because there was the wire fence? Or did you find a way to go get past the key card scanner? Someone in the group is actually the killer, so can you escape before everyone dies?
I feel like you can tell the game was made around the time that Saw was very popular
Mhm.
because it kind of has that vibe. Interesting investment in the components. I do think the rules could have been clearer.
Mhm.
I think we struggled a bit with like instantly understanding the rules the first time we played it.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting experience. It's not an escape room. It's a deduction game, more like.
Yeah, we kind of hoped it was an escape.
We wanted it to be an escape room. I think that's also part of our disappointment initially. It's like, it's not an escape room, but it's a very clever deduction game. It's actually a little older, but you can probably still get copies from Mystery Manila.
Yes.
So that's something for you. And then the other game we have is Space Dogs. It's another indie fiesta friend that we met.
By the publisher Play Platter, Space Dogs is a game about dogs.
Space dogs. Because you're
Homeless
trying to
space dogs.
they're homeless space dogs, and then there's going to be a mission card, and you want to be able to match the mission. And what are the requirements of the missions? Different types of dogs, or dogs with certain skills or breeds or types.
Is it because they want
And it's
healthy
cute
dogs?
little-
Is it because they want smart dogs? By fulfilling the requirements, you help Earthlings adopt these space dogs. Beautiful art.
The art is super cute.
Made for 2 to 4 players. They have so many different dogs featured in this. So there's a lot
Admittedly, because even just the back, it's like Pug and Basset Hound, of course, Golden Retriever. I mean, like, there's a lot of breeds. I mean, if you look at the main art, you can definitely see a Chow, a Chihuahua,
I think
a
it
Corgi.
says here 30 dog breeds.
30 dog breeds in this game.
Mhm.
It's a pretty cute game. It's a
Mhm.
pretty good game. I feel like there are times I wish it would run a little faster,
Mhm.
but then it's still a good experience, and it's easy to understand.
Yeah, the cards are separated between Earth and space cards, with the space cards being the dogs themselves, and the Earth cards being certain requirements, like Surfing Guru wants 2 dogs and they must have +5 traits. So it plays well. It's slow in some instances. There were some rule concerns we had at some point.
We
But,
messaged them and asked them.
yeah, but ultimately it still was an interesting game. It's worth getting. And if you love dogs, it's definitely one of those cute things to have in your collection so you can show off to others when you're having a game night.
Plus, you may not have as much information about dogs before, but you will after this game because there's a lot of dogs. And then like and you think that what we have a cat game and a dog game, they play completely differently, and that's just the brilliance of the local game market. And we're not limited to these ones. I mean, like these are the ones that we own, but there are a lot of different tabletop games out there in various states of development. Or they're probably a little harder to find because you don't necessarily see them on retail shelves, but you can get copies from them directly, or they tend to participate in different little swap market events, things like that. So
which is harder now given the pandemic.
Yeah.
Many have even opted to take the route of self-publishing, which is always super expensive. Others have tied up with certain local publishers. For example, there's Folded Dreams that's coming out, which was actually, I think it was in Spiel, Folded Wishes, which was in Spiel. And that's quite a remarkable feat for a local game to finally reach an international market.
The SN Spiel convention in Germany.
If you'd like to learn more of local games, not necessarily just the games we have featured based on our collection, please, please, please make time to visit the Indie Fiesta. We shall try to share the link in the description or in the comments.
Somewhere.
Yeah, but we'll try to share the link in this episode just so that you can connect. But know that the event room is only open between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m.
That's if you want to talk to the different creators and developers. But if you just want to visit the event, the page is active all the time. You can write the different placards that represent things. But be warned that you're going to have to navigate it like a JRPG. So it is not just a website. It is a fun interactive space which reflects the fun nature of the Indie Fiesta team. So that's great. And you got to love, the local game community. Other thoughts? I mean, and oh my God, because there's like games like, there's a game that's all because they're apiarists, people who have bees. There is a game all about bees, and it requires a lot of bee trivia, but it's kind of brilliant, and it's like getting around. I mean, I saw an article recently.
That would be Sting a Win.
Sting a Win, yes. That kind of it's going other places.
The creators were big fans of taking care of bees and honey and all these honey-based products. So they have a board game that celebrates that.
They gave us honey soap, right? That was cute.
There was a unreleased, or at least we haven't seen it again, game where you are vying for the best halo-halo.
I want this game.
Grab toppings from each other. It's called Halo Halo by Megalodon Games. There's Refrigerators, which basically has you playing mice stealing food from the refrigerator.
Hence, raiding fridge. Do you get it? Yay.
Pico asked, does it have Ascal? I actually don't remember. Do you remember?
I don't remember. I know they were very specific about the breeds.
Eventually coming out is even a card game that's inspired on the MNL 48 team Shuffle Idols group. Thing. And we're not fans of the show thing, but we actually wouldn't mind checking out the game. And you even have the ecological-minded games like the Big Switch or Survive, which is all about taking care of the environment and being more green-minded.
There are a lot of like social cause games that have come up in the local market, and that's pretty interesting. And then, admittedly, you're going to see a lot of them becoming card games because of component costs. So cards are like the easiest way to go, rather than developing a board. And maybe we'll reach a point where there is more support for local creators to have easy access to manufacture more complex board games. But for now, hey, this is great stuff.
And the economics, of course, is the challenge that the prices really only go lower if you have stuff produced in bulk. And bulk,
or in China.
And bulk, while it does mean you have lower prices per unit,
it means you have a larger investment of capital.
Exponentially larger.
Yeah, to hit that initial order.
An item that, let's say, if we were only having 100 items printed, would cost 3,000. But then if you have 200,000 copies of the game printed, maybe it will now only cost 300. But then what do you do with 200,000 copies of the game? because shipping and marketing is still something else compared to production.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they are a lot of very passionate local tabletop game creators out there, and we wanted to spend some time to celebrate them and their very fun, interesting, and unique games, and many times very distinctly Filipino games, and that's something great to bring to the table.
I guess to wrap up, what game do you hope to see, or what game haven't you seen and you can't wait for some local creator to take a stab at?
Oh, I don't know. I thought Halo Halo. I still feel it's like my full. It's a good fulfillment. It's like it's so distinctly Filipino. I mean, like because I have a couple of Singaporean games. I have the Singaporean Dream. I have Chope, and the MRT one. So it just shows that there's a fun way to like focus on very specific aspects of life, and that it would be nice to see more things like that. I don't know what that could be. Like I know we joked about what if we had an MRT game, and I don't know what it could be like. It would be highly competitive and difficult, but then you get bumped back and forth, things like that. So I mean, there's like different minutiae of Philippine life that you can focus on, or I don't know, like stupid things like the fact that our Christmas season starts in September. I feel like there's a game there somehow, right? And then
Bear
like,
months.
yeah, the Burrs. So there must be a way.
And you have serial numbers filed off Jose-Marie-chan as the mascot of the game.
Yes, because you can't quite get them, but you can get close. So I mean, there's a lot of potential, and I feel like we need more like sort of slice of life, Philippine experience.
Philippinisms.
Yeah. So I think that's the kind of games I want to see more, because that's what I'm seeing, at least in Singapore, and they're coming up with some pretty fun stuff. I have fun playing the Singaporean Dream, even though I don't understand the references for like half the cards. How about you, Toby?
I'd love to see a Euro-styled game about starting with a carinderia and ending with a mega restaurant.
Or it's like doing buy and sell of old shoes to make your own shoe mart.
Something like that, but something from, you all start with your little kiosks.
Yeah.
But then as you're playing, I buy the lot. Oh, you have a building now.
Or you should have some sort of a Changge game where it's all haggling.
I actually know of a certain creator. I cannot say more because I'm not sure of the accuracy of my statements, but it is about the wet market haggling.
Oh, see?
And I can't wait
feel
to
like
see
the
that
haggling
come
is
out.
a fun experience. So, I mean, then you could like theme it in certain ways. So,
I guess my last question, only because I just thought of it now, but I found myself thinking about it. As you mentioned, Singapore has its own games.
Yes.
And as I mentioned, there's Euro games.
Yes.
So what would be a Pinoy game? What would be the feel or the mechanic that makes something a Pinoy game?
I don't know. Is it a game that you can play at a funeral?
Oh, that's an interesting angle.
Right.
Which Pinoy games are always very portable.
Not necessarily water resistant, but then don't require a lot of space.
And the interesting thing, if that does become the term, is it works like Pinoy's, which is it's very hybridable. For example, this is a Pinoy Euro game. This is a Pinoy Ameritrash game. And that still totally makes sense. So let's close with
quickly
comments.
Skimming through. What's this? So Jay was like, sedated his frustrated linguist side, maybe actually excited to try it. No, yeah, it's like we didn't claim to be good. It was a good mental exercise. I mean, really, it's like thinking about playing Scrabble or Boggle in your own home language,
and then being able to change the word by shifting syllables and
that's the twist. That as you play words around, that's the really good stuff. Noel wonders when we're gonna play. We wonder too.
Yes, we wonder too.
Kino mentions Compatron was his first local tabletop game.
Oh,
Yay,
that's awesome.
Fun little experience. And then this is a long one. Aim is saying, I'm thinking of seeing something along the lines of Politricks, but like a Philippine version of Secret Hitler. Oh, maybe. But what would be spot the something?
Yeah, I guess the tricky part with stuff like that, though, would be, are we just reskinning Secret Hitler? Because they have done that as well. Harry Potter has the unofficial.
Oh, like Find the Dementors or
Yes.
the Death Eaters.
Yes, and it's stuff like that that does happen in a lot of the other
Well,
alternative markets.
My suggestion is that you can always call it red tagging. Haha. Find the reds, and I don't know. You are the yellows. Pico thinks one of the Philippine game creators is being quick and extremely fun. I don't know, but I don't necessarily think we can't do long games. But then, yeah, I think a lot of it, again, it's that concept of portability, many rounds, something you can place bets on. I don't know.
Yeah, but there is a point to your can be played in
Can be played at a funeral. Aspect. Don't you think?
I mean, maybe not the older generation, because the older generation will still stick to cards and chess. But as the younger
people play
generation,
mahjong. If people play mahjong at a funeral, I think that sets us up for like a bit of diversity.
True.
And I've seen some people still bring like older, like classic board games, like whether it's Monopoly or dare I say Game of the Millionaires. I don't know, but right there's a whole Philippine subculture to playing games at funerals.
Can you imagine? You now have people on their last will stating like, when I die, no video games, but please play board games. Stuff like that.
Wow, and we have love for Compatron with Mark Joseph.
Hey, Mark.
Yay.
Mark, your game. We will mention it someday once we have a copy.
All right, yeah. So we've said so many last words. So
yeah, that is our collection of local tabletop games. We hope to have more. However, that was 30 minutes. We had such a fun time, and we hope you had a great time too.
As always, if you have questions or suggestions for future episodes, fill up the form at bit.ly Baduy Pride Ideas. We are also accepting questions for precious Paula Nicole, the fabulous drag queen who will be our guest on Friday. So you can use the same form. Just let us know that you have a question for Precious, and
just to make sure, because you know how video can be watched later on. That's Friday,
the 13th,
2020.
All right, okay. As always, you can follow us on Twitter, Altobi No Shade and RG Sumiko.
You can also check out our blog, that's baduypride.com, for all the previous episodes and stuff about us.
And if you have questions that you want to throw in for the anniversary episode, you're going to have to find Nico and ask him, because so that there are surprises for us. Hooray. Yes, and then, of course, feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below. What local games have you tried, or which ones do you own? And which ones do you hope to find? If you comment on Facebook, we'll help you get connected with the connector, the creator. Sorry. So that's an awesome option. Oh, Noel says we should really set a game schedule. Yes.
Please make sure you find time to visit the Indie Fiesta that's happening this week from 4 to 7 p.m. and the link will be provided.
In November 2020.
Yeah.
If Toby's being very specific about dates, it runs.
Oh yeah, we have to. We have to.
Okay. And then, yeah, be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or YouTube, so you don't miss our next live stream. Once again, I am Rocky.
I'm Toby.
And this is Baduy Pride. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Support local.
Bye.
Bye.